What's going on, guys? Carmine here, and I'm back with another Q&A, and this time it's for Season 6, Episode 4 of Game of Thrones. Naturally, you're all wondering what happened to my previous episode Q&A, and why I didn't do one. Well, it's mainly because I was switching companies on YouTube, and the process was a bit annoying and slow at times, and I didn't want to confuse the system, so I just said fuck it. Don't worry, I'll make it up to you guys later on with a special video. I promise you it'll be worth it, and hopefully you enjoy, and I'll even give you a hint right now. Greyjoy! I hope you caught that. Not my germs, but what I actually said. Now with that out of the way, let's get on to it. First question, do you think Stannis is alive? Well, there was a picture somebody sent me which I didn't think too much of it, but I'm hoping is kind of real. In the first episode, I believe Ramsay reports to Roose that they found his body and that the latter wanted to reward the man who killed him. But there is this picture floating around that Stannis actually survived and that Ramsay was lying about the report. The picture could be completely false, but I'll post it up on my Twitter page if you guys want to see it. And before someone bitches about that, let me explain why I'm uploading it there instead of in this video. It's because Twitter has a nice option that covers all the media content that I post as sensitive. That way you'd have to go to my page and click on the button to actually see the picture instead of having it ruined for you if you didn't want to see it. I'd rather avoid the bitching and complaining if this picture turns out to be true or not. I think he is dead, but because like in an interview a while ago, the actor who plays Stannis said that he never fully understood Game of Thrones. I mean, if you're someone who was being employed by the show, you'd avoid saying shit like that, but that's just my opinion. Some people swear that they saw him in the trailer fighting alongside Tormund, but once again, it's all speculation. I hope it's true, I hope he comes back and, is redeemed, but I honestly think the showrunners really didn't like his character and just put him in there because a lot of book plot points are related to him. Next question, why is Peter Baelish your favorite character? Because, to me, Peter Baelish is the main character of the show. Without him, there is no show. He was the one who had Jon Arryn killed so that Robert would go up to Winterfell and choose Ned as his Hand of the King. He's the one who had Lysa write to her sister Catelyn to warn about the Lannisters killing Jon Arryn so that the Starks would immediately distrust them. He's the one who lied about the dagger to Catelyn, betrayed Ned, and even helped arrange the assassination of Joffrey. He's the only one pulling all these strings, and I've always loved those strategic characters who are one step ahead of everybody. To me, his is the most interesting storyline because we still don't know to the fullest extent what it is he wants. Does he want to rule the Vale, control the North through Sansa, or maybe even the Iron Throne? What does he really want, and what is his endgame? We don't know, and that is what makes him one of the most dangerous players in the series, and I think that is badass and very fun to watch, him pull all those strings. Which leads me to my next question. Other than Dario, who do you think could be the Harpy? The other conclusion I've come to is Peter Baelish. Why? Because it makes sense to me. I don't think it's Varys, simply because he knows that you need a standing army, not just dragons, to take control of fortified positions. You need men to go out in the streets to keep order. Dragons are great for turning the tide of battle, but not keeping the peace. Peter needs his plans to work, and for that to happen, he has to carefully maneuver everybody right where he wants them to be, and Daenerys and her dragons are too much of a wild card if they suddenly turn their attention to Westeros. He needs to hold them long enough to make his plans work. There is a fun theory amongst book readers that the entire series is just a chess game between Varys and Peter. Varys clearly supports the Targaryens, but who does Peter support? Himself. With Tyrion and Varys at her side, it would be very hard for Peter to navigate around a Targaryen restoration, considering both of those guys know how slick and clever he can be. Peter secretly is funding the Son of the Harpy makes sense to me. It throws a wrench into Dany's plans, and with them burning the ships, it keeps them stuck in Meereen, especially with the other slave cities turning against them. Next question, do you really think Ramsay sent the pink letter? I think Ramsay wrote the letter in the show. In the books, well, that is a topic for another time. Some believe Davos wrote the letter, some believe it was Sansa herself, and some believe it was Hodor. I believe that the showrunners don't have much creativity when it comes to Game of Thrones. I know that seems a little harsh, but think about it for a minute here. All the mysteries you get in the books, all the sense of wonder and questions that are brought up are never adapted in the television show. Ever. The Pink Letter mystery is interesting, but with how they proceeded on the Dornish plotline and what's happening in King's Landing and how slow that's being, do you guys really think that they try to put some incredible plot twist behind that letter? No. In the books? Yeah, maybe, but in the show? Nope. Ramsay sent it. Unless you want to explain the Bolton soldier delivering the letter as some random person in disguise, then no, it was Ramsay. Next question, do you think Dany will turn into a tyrant like her father? That's a tough one. I think it would be very interesting for her signs of madness to start to shine through towards the end, and maybe, just maybe, she may not even stick around long enough to rule all of Westeros. George Martin has said that the ending to the series would be bittersweet, and what I'm thinking is that maybe Dany builds her own country with all the followers she's gained. Maybe she heads over to Westeros, rules for a time, and then leaves for parts unknown because maybe she's noticed that she is becoming too much like her father. I have this image in the back of my head that the ending to the whole thing will be Dany walking through the ruins of Old Valyria, and she ends up discovering dozens of dragon eggs. But I don't think she'll go full-blown insane, but I think she'll start to realize it at some point and try to do something about it. It'd be a nice internal conflict type of situation, and it'd be cool to see her overcome it. Next question, what do you think the High Sparrow told Tommen? The Tyrell involvement in Joffrey's murder? I think the High Sparrow is playing them against each other. He's not an idiot. He knows Tommen is very attached to his mother, and he knew that Tommen would spill the beans. The High Sparrow knows that he cannot resist the combined forces of the Tyrells and the Lannisters, so what can he do? Divide them. Plant the seeds of distrust among them by using Tommen as his delivery boy. It's a perfect plan, and quite frankly, I hope it's true because that would make a nice plot twist. If you're wondering how he figured that out, Loras. When we saw Loras, he was broken, and it's possible that they got some kind of confession out of him about Olenna's involvement in the assassination of the previous king. The High Sparrow knows that the Faith Militant are ill-equipped to deal with two armies, so he'll have them go against each other, but I'm thinking maybe Cersei will use the Tyrells one last time to try to get rid of the Sparrows, and then use the Zombie Mountain to kill the others? Maybe. Keep in mind that the High Sparrow is a liar. Considering last season when Cersei offered him wine, he said, "I never liked the taste." But he told Marjorie in the previous episode that he used to have drunken orgies with people all the time. He also said how he gave his shoes away, but then he tells Marjorie that he left home without them. Suspicious. Next question, even though you dislike him, do you think Sam will have a greater purpose this season? I don't dislike Sam, I just dislike how they use him in the show. What people didn't understand about my previous video is how a lot of the scenes we get with him are just wasted potential. But I think Sam will probably figure out another weakness of the White Walkers, or maybe even set out to be Dany's maester. Not only that, but I hope that, in the end, he ends up taking his father's Valyrian steel sword with him. Oh, that's right. House Tarly, just like House Stark, has a Valyrian steel sword that has been passed down from generations to generations. Like I said in my previous Sam and Gilly video, you would know that if they took the time to go through some of that information, but they don't. I don't hate Sam, and some of the viewers in the previous video keep forgetting that even though I explained it as clearly as I could, but unfortunately not everybody watches the full video before commenting. I understand Sam has a greater purpose, and I can't wait to see it, but I just wish that the journey to his greater purpose wasn't so boring and tired out. Hopefully he takes the place of another book character, sets out to Meereen and meets up with Dany and convinces her about another threat facing all of Westeros. And final question, Sophie Turner played the game Two Truths, One Lie. Which do you think is a lie? Ramsay dies, Lady Stoneheart returns, Arya checks 3 people off her list. Oh shit, this is a tough one. I'm going to have the people watching this video join in on this one. Ramsay dying this season is definitely happening, but the other two? Shit. Jaime and Brienne have both been spotted in the Riverlands this season, and Thoros of Myr is coming back, so maybe Stoneheart? Because Arya's kill list has a lot of people on it that... some of those people are important characters, but I think they need to be around until the end. So I think the two truths are Ramsay's death and Stoneheart, and the lie is Arya's deathless. Comment section, help me out here. I'll leave a link in the description below to the article where the person found this. Also, in that same article, Maisie Williams, who plays Arya, also joins in on the game, and her answers are really exciting, but I'll let you guys check out the article yourself. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, show your support and hit that like button. If you're new to my channel and want to see more, click that subscribe button. And if you hate me, well then fuck off. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.